Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today, Behind the Label, Sustainability Seals and Certifications, presented by Cliff Bar & Company. I'm Amory Thompson, a registered dietitian and nutrition scientist at Cliff Bar & Company. We have 3 on-site staff dietitians here at Cliff who help guide our innovation teams on important nutrition considerations for the development of our products. And we also dedicate our time to nutrition communications, developing resources and sharing our company's story and expertise around sustainable nutrition with health professionals like all of you. Today's webinar has been submitted for approval for continuing education professional education credit by the Commission on Dietetic Registration. For more information about claiming your CEUs, please fill out the post-webinar survey. A link to that survey along with the presentation slides can also be found on our website, the Cliff Nutrition Education Hub, which is at cliffbar.com/nutrition-education. Our site has a ton of other relevant resources, which I'll talk more about later. At the end of today's webinar, we hope you will be able to, 1, identify front of pack seals and certifications that support environmental sustainability and fair and ethical labor practices. We also hope that 2, you'll be able to articulate the key criteria of different third-party sustainability seals and certifications. And 3, develop recommendations to help people consume a healthier, more sustainable diet that aligns with their values. Here is a quick roadmap for our journey together today. We will start by unpacking why sustainability seals and certifications are important. And then we'll move on into which you should be looking for. And then lastly, we'll touch on how to use those to support your clients in eating more sustainably. So let's get into it. Starting with why are sustainability seals and certifications important? To understand this question, really before we even talk about why seals and certifications are important, we need to start at the beginning and take a step back and talk about why sustainability is important more generally. So let's talk about that. Why is sustainability important? More specifically to our field of work, why is sustainable nutrition important? The foods we choose to eat impact our personal health and well-being, as well as the health and well-being of our planet and the people who grow and make our food. The joint crises related to public health and nutrition insecurity and climate change have really brought sustainable nutrition to the forefront of conversations around both nutrition and public health. The link between sustainability and the foods we eat has also become a really popular topic of discussion in the media. Headlines and publications are popping up in news outlets like The Atlantic with headlines like "Your diet is cooking the planet," and lifestyle magazines like Real Simple and Runner's World have headlines related to a climatarian diet and how it can help reduce your carbon footprint. These recent media articles share tips on how curious consumers can adopt a more climate-friendly eating pattern themselves. So needless to say, climate-friendly eating is definitely on the rise. Consumer food choices are becoming more motivated by sustainability. 79% say they recognize the impact they can have on both the planet and the people who grow and make their food. And they're changing their purchasing preferences and behaviors based on sustainability. The COVID-19 pandemic really forced many of us to pause and reflect, and we became more curious about where our food was coming from and how it was grown and shipped, and really that interconnectedness of our entire ecosystem. In fact, as a result of the pandemic, 70% of consumers reported reducing their environmental impact was even more important than ever before. And 65% said that they'll be more mindful about the impact of their overall consumption in their, quote, new normal. Additionally, many became increasingly aware of the labor and equity issues within our current food system, driving them to seek out ways to have more of a positive impact. And 6 in 10 say that it's either very or somewhat important to them that the foods they buy or eat are produced in ways that are committed to the fair and equitable treatment of our workers. So with all this in mind, it's our job as nutrition professionals to really support consumers in making nutritious and sustainable choices that really align with their food values. So how can we do that? And what exactly do more nutritious and sustainable food choices look like? In general, the field of nutrition and sustainable nutrition speaks to the impact of diet and food production on human, planetary, and societal health. And while there's no one agreed upon definition of sustainable nutrition diet, at least not yet, experts have generally aligned on these characteristics. And there's a few key ones here that you'll see on this slide. This includes things like considerations for worker health and safety, food access and affordability, carbon footprint, and so much more. And it's why sustainability seals and certifications, which we're going to talk about today, are really important. Sustainability seals and certifications are one way to identify options that have more positively impact to the planet and the people who grow and make our food. Icons like these shown here provide assurance on how a food was raised or grown, how the workers were treated in the process, or what things a food may be free from, just to name a few. USDA Organic is backed by government with federal law and civil and criminal penalties for fraud. And while this is not the case for any other certification, those backed by nonprofit organizations also have created rigorous standards which foods carrying the mark must either meet or exceed. When out at the grocery store or shopping online, which seals or certifications should you be on the lookout for? About half of consumers feel that there are too many green seals and certifications on foods today. And this information overload can be really overwhelming. And it may even lead some to overlook these symbols altogether due to lack of understanding of what they truly mean. So here again is where nutrition professionals can really act as a guide and help guide our consumers to understand the different labels and to better utilize those to better make more sustainable choices. As I mentioned, there are many different seals and certifications that exist on product packaging, and these are just some common and trusted seals you might see on foods at your local supermarket. So from left to right, we have the USDA Organic Seal, the Rainforest Alliance Certified Green Frog Seal, and the Fair Trade Mark. Some of these seals can be found on the front of packaging, like the USDA Organic Seal and the Rainforest Alliance Certified Frog, whereas others, like the Fair Trade Mark, are more likely to be on the side or the back panel of a package near the nutrition facts panel. We'll take a deeper dive into what each of these seals communicates over the next few slides. Let's first talk about USDA Organic and the USDA Organic Seal. You may have seen this seal and thought to yourself, how is organic different than conventional? Or is organic agriculture regenerative? In many ways, organic farming is the original regenerative practice. Organic farming conserves and restores biodiversity and stores carbon in the soil, where it increases soil fertility instead of releasing it into the atmosphere. As you can see on this chart, food that is certified organic is non-GMO and more. So products carrying the USDA organic seal will have at least 95% of certified organic ingredients in their recipe. Foods carrying the USDA organic seal meet a set of really rigorous standards outlined by the US Department of Agriculture. These standards are designed to help build soil health, protect natural habitats, and prohibit the use of certain chemicals. USDA Organic is backed by government with federal law and civil and criminal penalties for fraud. It's important to note that just because a food doesn't carry a USDA organic seal, the green and white seal you see here, doesn't mean that it doesn't contain organic ingredients. Foods that carry the claim, quote, made with organic, like for instance, a made with organic oats claim, still meet the organic standards set by the USDA, as you'll see here in this third column. In fact, these foods are still made with at least 70% ingredients certified organic. This is an important one, so I'll say it one more time. Foods that carry a made with organic claim still meet the organic standards set by the USDA and have at least 70% of ingredients certified organic. These products using these claims are still bound by federal law. And finally, you may see some foods which only call out organic ingredients in the ingredient statement. As you can see in the last column, multi-ingredient foods with this labeling have not been verified to meet the same standards under the National Organic Program. While we're talking about organic, I want to mention this one. Quality Assurance International, or QAI for short, is a certifier within the National Science Foundation, the NSF, and they certify for many things, with organic being one of them. The QAI certified organic label indicates a food contains 70% or more certified organic ingredients. This seal is often found on the back or the side panel of a package or food label near the ingredient statement, and it's verified by the Quality Assurance International, which is an organization that is accredited by several international government agencies, including the USDA. So if you're working with clients to help them identify organic options, rest assured that foods bearing either one, the green and white USDA organic seal, two, a made with organic claim, or three, the QAI mark, have all met the USDA guidelines for organic certification. So you'll see on this slide, I've highlighted with this magnifying glass where you might see the QAI certified organic logo underneath that nutrition facts panel on the side of this particular product. Let's talk about the growth and prevalence of organic foods for a minute. Organic is the fastest growing sector of the food industry. US organic food sales have risen 12.8% since 2019, totaling nearly $56.5 billion, making organic foods really more prevalent and accessible than ever before. The USDA organic seal and QAI mark can be found on many foods and beverages, products from meats and dairy and eggs to produce and whole grains, and even packaged snacks. Moving on to our next seal that I want to talk about today, the Rainforest Alliance Frog Seal stands for a better future for people and nature. Certified farms are better and safer places to live and work, where human rights must be respected. Farmers receive training which address issues like child labor and promote gender equality and non-discrimination. Independent studies have actually demonstrated that workers on certified farms are more likely to have better working conditions, personal protective gear, and labor protections. The seal is verified by the Rainforest Alliance, which is an international nonprofit organization working at the intersection of business, agriculture, and forests. Their mission is to create a better future for people and nature by making responsible business really the new normal. The Rainforest Alliance has a network of more than 2.8 million certified farmers in more than 70 countries across the globe, with more than 6.8 million hectares of certified farmland. Farmers whose foods end up in products bearing this green frog seal must protect natural resources and the environment by using things like land and water and energy really carefully. Farmers on certified farms use fewer artificial fertilizers and pesticides, preventing pollution and helping to manage waste. They learn how to preserve forested and protected areas, which in turn really helps to support the biodiversity of plants and animals. Farmers and farm workers are also trained to use climate smart farming methods and to adapt to the effects of climate change. The Rainforest Alliance only certifies a pretty small offering of crops, which I've listed here: palm oil, sunflowers, and a small number of fruits, herbs, spices, and nuts. They're best known for certifying coffee and cacao. The Rainforest Alliance certified frog can be found on farm and forest products from around the globe, including, as I mentioned, cocoa, coffee, and tea. Single ingredient products bearing the seal, like coffee beans, must contain at least 90% Rainforest Alliance certified ingredients. Multi-ingredient products like Cliff Bar can carry an ingredient-specific seal that indicates which specific ingredient is Rainforest Alliance certified, like this cocoa seal. In these products, the certified ingredient must either, one, make up 30% or more of the entire product recipe, two, be used in the product name and or imagery on the front of the package, or three, be an essential ingredient to the formulation of the product. Cliff Bar & Company sources ingredients bearing this Rainforest Alliance certification because of its comprehensive social, economic, and environmental commitments, which really closely match our company's 5 aspiration business model. Today, 100% of the cocoa ingredients used in Cliff Bar & Company foods, including the chocolate and brownie and crunchy peanut butter flavor of our new Cliff Bar Duos that you see here, are either Rainforest Alliance certified or organic. So you'll notice with the little magnifying glass on this slide where this particular logo would show up, and you'll notice that this is specific to the cocoa ingredients in this product. The last certification we'll discuss today is the Fair Trade Mark. So the Fair Trade Mark is the symbol of Fair Trade International, the original and global leader in fair trade certification with more than 3 decades of experience working for fair trading practices. The Fair Trade Mark is one of the most globally recognized ethical labels and indicates farmers were fairly compensated for their food and that they produced them in compliance with environmental, economic, and social standards. Fair trade certified products meet internationally agreed upon social, environmental, and economic fair trade standards that protect the well-being of farmers, workers, fishermen, and the environment in more than 60 countries around the world. These standards are tailor-made for each industry to ensure all products and producers are working together toward the same goal. They are also reviewed at least every 5 years and are independently audited by a third-party inspector. Fair trade stands for a fairer world for nearly 2 million farmers and workers who grow our food through things like improved income stability, the opportunity to join forces with other producers, resources to improve yields, gender equality for all producers, as well as quality of life benefits such as investments in their communities. Fair trade works to secure living wages so that workers can feed their families and so that they can enjoy safe housing and send their children to school, and also so that they can afford adequate health care and set aside money for emergencies. Fair trade fights for freedom of association, such as union rights and collective bargaining, a critical component really for lasting equality. Fair trade certification means farmers and workers were paid at least the fair trade minimum price, which is a safety net for farmers when prices fall so that they can cover the costs of sustainable production. Small-scale farmers can face decreasing harvests due to extreme weather and challenging conditions that are brought about by climate change. This results in income loss, and it makes it really difficult for farmers to adapt their farming practices or invest in new technologies. So with a quarter of its rigorous standards focused on the environment, fair trade collaborates with farmers to minimize environmental impact by restricting use of harmful chemicals, banning GMO seeds, preserving protected forests, and encouraging organic farming where possible, among other interventions. There are a few types of fair trade marks you will see while shopping for some of your kitchen staples. Some single ingredient products like bananas and coffee are fully traceable from farm to shelf and bear this black fair trade mark. I've also included the Fair Trade USA mark, the white one next to it, which is more recognizable, the more recognizable one here in the United States. The white fair trade sourced ingredient marks to the right of those two indicate individual ingredients have been sourced as fair trade, such as fair trade cocoa and fair trade rice. In this sourcing model, the ingredient carries these labels to indicate that it has been certified such as fair trade cashews in a bag of mixed nuts, for example, or fair trade coffee in a Cliff Bar coffee collection bar. The fair trade sourced ingredient model allows farmers and workers more opportunities to sell their ingredients on fair trade terms and really gives companies a greater flexibility to incorporate fair trade ingredients into their products. It also gives consumers more ways to shop sustainably. So regardless of the model under which a company purchases a commodity on fair trade terms, the benefits to the farmers and the workers are the same. All right, so we've done a deep dive into some of the most common seals and certifications you or your clients may find at the supermarket. And it's a lot to take in, and there is often confusion. So I want to spend the next few minutes reviewing some common questions. First up here, when shopping at the grocery store, it's natural to compare products. And one thing you might compare are the different seals and certifications, wondering which seal is best. Well, the answer is it depends. There is no best seal because frankly, it really depends on your client's values and their own priorities in their sustainability journey. So I would encourage you to talk with them to better understand what might be driving this question so that you can help them navigate the different options and really choose the one that are best for them. Our second common question is, what is the difference between Rainforest Alliance and Fair Trade? So these organizations actually share similar goals, but they differ in their focus and their approach. So Fair Trade's mission is to connect disadvantaged producers and consumers and promote fairer trading conditions and empower producers to combat poverty and strengthen their position and take more control over their lives. And one way that fair trade tackles poverty and helps producers is giving them a guaranteed minimum price and additional premium for their products. The Rainforest Alliance's mission is to create a more sustainable world by using social and market forces to protect nature and improve the lives of farmers and forest communities. Their approach is holistic and focuses on helping farmers grow their businesses and become more profitable and resilient through trainings in things like farm management and financial literacy and market access. So both organizations really believe in the urgent need to transform agricultural practices, and both believe that certification through credible systems like these can accelerate that transformation. They're both committed to tackling unsustainable production and market practices. We talked about two different symbols which verify organic, but can foods carry both the USDA organic seal and the QAI mark? The answer is yes. They can both carry both of these. The USDA organic is backed by the US government with federal law and civil and criminal penalties for fraud. And the QAI certified organic certification certifies every potential crop that is grown more globally. Next, we have what is the difference between fair trade and fair trade? So fair trade, two words, or fairly traded is a general term referring to many things. It could be ethical trade, it could be the fair trade movement, it could be fair trade products. Unlike some of the different ways to describe organic and fair trade, this term is not regulated. So a company could theoretically use these two words, quote, fair trade, and no third parties policing this. Fair trade as one word on the bottom there is only used by organizations, brands, and products that are part of the Fair Trade International system. So you can tell the difference by looking for these labels, right? The green, the blue and the green fair trade mark on product packaging. When products have a fair trade mark on them, it means that they meet fair trade's rigorous social, economic, and environmental standards. Now let's talk about how this all comes together. How can you help your clients eat more sustainably? So realistically, Not all foods carry a label. Not all foods have a seal. Not all foods have certifications. So how can you be sure that you're eating or recommending an overall nutritious and sustainable diet to your clients? The foundation of any healthy, sustainable diet starts with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and plant-based proteins like nuts, seeds, and legumes. But plant-based doesn't have to mean plant exclusive. By making plants the star, we can still remember that small amounts of lean meat, poultry, fish, seafood, eggs, and dairy can also be included. As nutrition professionals, we should be encouraging a variety of plant-based foods. So we know that fresh fruits and veggies are great, but canned and frozen foods are an affordable and a convenient option as well. I like to refer to these options like canned beans or frozen grains or on-the-go snacks like the Cliff Nut Butter Bar you see here as our, quote, sustainable shortcuts, because they can really help us save time when we're in a pinch while still thinking about sustainable nutrition. Another way to make sure that sustainable options are always on hand is meal prep. So there's no better feeling than coming home from a busy day at work and opening your fridge and seeing the ingredients you need to quickly whip up a nutritious meal or snack and having that all right at your fingertips. Beyond the convenience factor, meal prepping with purpose can be an easy way to start building a more sustainable lifestyle because it helps reduce food waste in your own kitchen. So start by creating a weekly menu and planning your grocery list and emphasizing a variety of plant-based foods, proteins, fruits, veggies, whole grains. Plan a few easy options for meals and snacks when you know that time will be tight, but you need balanced options to help you stay energized. When building your list and purchasing products, think beyond ingredients and taste alone and really research companies and their practices and their values. Brand actions and values are far more important than marketing messaging. And forward-leaning companies understand that sustainability goes beyond the food label. To truly regenerate people and the planet, making commitments like zero waste practices and green power and eco-friendly packaging and paying employees a living wage and supporting stronger policies, which are all key parts to building a healthier and more equitable food future. Cliff Bar & Company obviously prides itself on being a company dedicated to building a healthier and more equitable food future. For example, in 2020, the company sourced 125 million pounds of organic ingredients, which is actually about 78% of the total ingredients used that year. When it comes to prepping meals and snacks, choose any number of different systems. So whether that is prepping the different meal ingredients like protein, veggies, grains, and sauces so that you can create different flavor combinations at mealtime, or prep a series of full meals and snacks so that you only need to grab food from the fridge or the pantry to go and run. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just choose a system that helps fit your client's lifestyle. Finally, my number one food waste reduction tip is to repurpose leftovers. According to the Food and Drug Administration, around 30 to 40% of food in the US is wasted. So don't let your leftovers go into the landfill. When reusing leftovers, use the first in, first out FIFO method, in which the meals and ingredients that you prepped first are used first. This method helps prevent any unwanted spoilage and ensures you're eating foods at the peak of their freshness. For produce that may be looking a little sad or wilted, you can repurpose it by adding it to homemade vegetable broth or freezing it for smoothies. Remember that from a food safety standpoint, most foods can only be kept as leftovers in the fridge for 3 or 4 days. Another idea is to spice things up by reinventing your leftover meals. So for example, leftover rice can be combined with vegetable broth and herbs and canned beans and added to a nice warming soup. Or pre-prepped plant protein and veggies can be wrapped in a burrito or scrambled into a breakfast omelet. There's really endless options if once you get creative. And remember, when reheating leftovers, the FDA always recommends heating at least to 165 degrees. Okay, so before we close, I want to spend a little bit of time sharing some helpful resources. So you can find more practical advice on meal planning, information, and sustainable nutrition more and more at our website, cliffbar.com/nutrition-education. Our nutrition education hub has a meal planning section and a healthy, sustainable eating 101 section where you can find free downloadable tools and even more continuing education webinars like this one focused on sustainable nutrition. We work with registered dietitians and exercise physiologists and other health experts to develop this content and ensure that it's rooted in science as well as meeting the needs of our consumers and health professionals like you. So I want to take a minute and click through our cliffbar.com/nutrition education hub and show you where some of these things can be found. So on the page here, I've got it pulled up, cliffbar.com/nutrition-education. You'll see in this top left-hand corner, we've got a navigation menu that points you to the various sections of our site. We've got some information about Cliff Bar and Company and our nutrition philosophy. We have healthy, sustainable eating 101 resources that I mentioned. We have some information on active nutrition. We've got kid nutrition, meal prepping and planning, snacking, and then some resources for health professionals. So I'm just going to scroll through here and show you what this all looks like. So about Cliff Bar and Company, there's a lot of different formats of resources on here. So you'll see these ones are downloadable that you can view larger. There's an energy playbook that you can click through. It's full screen, but it shows different energy occasions for our products. Here's our healthy, sustainable eating 101 section. We've got a nice video with one of our partner registered dietitians. We've got plenty of articles, some more information on seals and certifications. So if you're looking for more beyond this webinar today. We have a section on active nutrition. So this is a great section to find resources on how to fuel workouts and active adventure. There's a video and there's some nice articles about different sports. So eating before cycling, eating before running, protein recovery for after a workout. Here's our cute kids, kid nutrition. We've got lots of resources on kid nutrition and how to ensure your kids are getting enough protein, some nutritious snacks for camping, for Halloween, for back to school, gluten-free snacks, all kinds of goodies there supported, again, content by our partner dietitians and other health experts. And then here's that meal planning and prep section I mentioned. So you'll see we've got some nice articles here about what to look for and some quick breakfast ideas, for example. Snacking, lots of content on snacking, smart snacking, snacking for travel, 100 calories or more, some kid snack ideas. And then this section here, which is for our health professionals. So lots of resources and handouts. We've got a video about how dietitians can lead the sustainable nutrition movement. And we have a guide and some workbook resources here that you can download to help calculate nutrition needs for the active athletes that you might be working with, and some modules for specific sports, hiking, cycling, and running, and soccer, things to think about. So we're continuing to add resources to this hub. It's always evolving with new information added, so I would encourage you to check it out, save it, bookmark it on your browser so that you have it available at your fingertips. So before you go, to fill out the online survey to share your feedback on today's presentation, on the webinar and the content shared today, and also to claim your continuing education credits. You can also subscribe to our Cliff Bar Nutrition newsletter to stay up to date on the latest nutrition news and get in direct contact with our nutrition team. You'll have the opportunity to opt into that when you complete the online survey for this webinar. And with that, I want to thank you for your time today. Again, my name is Anne-Marie Thompson, and I'm a registered dietitian and nutrition scientist here at Cliff Bar & Company. We hope that this information presented today was helpful for both you and your clients. The last slide of this presentation is all of our references and resources. So if you want to dive more deeply into any of the topics discussed today, you can download today's presentation and view those on that nutrition education hub that I shared, cliffbar.com/nutrition-education. And with that, thanks again.